The next concept we want to review is the coordinate plane. If you remember from our previous one, the relation is a set of ordered pairs, and ordered pairs can be graphed on the coordinate plane. And this is something that we've done before. So we're picking up on some vocabulary words again. It's called a coordinate plane, and a coordinate plane is formed whenever we have an x and a y axis. So it's a horizontal and a vertical axis. So we have a horizontal axis, which we call the x's, and the x's are your inputs. So your inputs, or the first values of your ordered pairs, always get located on the x-axis first, and then your second values in your ordered pair, or your y values, or your outputs, they should be recorded on your y-axis. So this is going to review how you graph ordered pairs. So they're getting across some ideas. A coordinate plane is this big plane that's created whenever we have two axes that cross each other, the x and the y axis, which records our inputs and our outputs. It's going to help us graph our ordered pairs. Where these two intersect, the intersection of these axes, they're reminding you that that is called the origin. So I'm just highlighting this. It has the ordered pair 0, 0, the origin. And then they're going to review some concepts about quadrants. So the base word in quadrants is quad. Quad means 4. There are 4 quadrants in this coordinate plane, and they're not too difficult to see. The first one is sitting right here. This is called your first quadrant, and they use Roman numerals. 1, if you go counterclockwise, this one I'll just shade it in pink. This is your second quadrant, so in Roman numerals, it looks like a double I. Your third quadrant is located down here, still continuing the counterclockwise, so in Roman numerals, it's going to be I. And finally, the fourth one is called your fourth quadrant, which is down here, which is IE. And they have those highlighted as well. I just want to highlight them again. Some things that are fairly important that they're outlining for you is that if you're in this first quadrant, you're going to be, both the x and the y values are going to be positive. So I'm going to clear this off. If I'm in this first quadrant, I would have to go to the right, and I'd have to go up. So right and up are two positive directions, so it's plus plus. If I'm ever going to be in the second quadrant, I would have to go left of the origin. And anytime you go left of the origin, you're negative, and then you would go up. So they're saying your ordered pairs would always be a negative first coordinate and then a positive second coordinate. And that argument follows for the other two quadrants as well. Anytime you go left, it's negative. Anytime you go down, it's negative. So if you want to go into the third quadrant, you'd have to go left, which is negative, and down, which is negative. So any ordered pair in this third quadrant has the ordered pair that's a negative and a negative input and output, x and y coordinate, your domain of range. So that's what we're going to look at in this next example. It's just being familiar with your coordinate plane, and they ask you this. Name the quadrant in which t is, which is the ordered pair -8, 5 is located. So in order to graph this relation, remember, is nothing more than a set of ordered pairs, we would have to go on our coordinate plane, -8. So -8 is your input, and the inputs are always on your x-axis, and your x-axis is always a horizontal. So you start at the origin, and you go 8 units to the left. So I'm just imagining going 8 units left, and I'm going to go off that coordinate plane. And the second coordinate in that ordered pair, your range, that is your y coordinate, and that tells you to go up 5. So you're going to go up 5. So you're going to be somewhere up in here. So it's going to locate us in the second quadrant. So in this example, what they want to get through to you and want you to review is the idea of a coordinate plane. Your relation is a set of ordered pairs, which means that we can graph them on the coordinate plane, and then we can locate the quadrants based on their positive and negative values of our inputs and outputs. So fairly simple, just again trying to get familiar with some vocabulary.